If your house burned down, like in the Spokane fires, would you have $6,500 in the bank right now to help you get out? Because if you don't, you're gonna go broke just trying to survive the next 2 weeks. And here's what you need to do in order to survive an evacuation. These Spokane fires hit really close to home. Here in Wyoming, we have had our own issues. Thankfully, this year so far, we haven't had any directly hitting our house. There was a pretty big fire about 10 miles from my house, and there's 4 or 5 fires right now going on in Wyoming, as you can see in the sky. Today's a good day. But listen, all the birds are gone. That should tell you something. When all the birds leave, we got a problem. Normally, I live in basically the woods in my city, and normally it sounds like an aviary, is that what it's called? And so the very real probability of having to evacuate is getting more and more frequent every year. As I was watching the Spokane fires, it was like 65,000 people had to evacuate last I heard. 700 homes have been totally gone. And I was just thinking, okay, how many of these people are living paycheck to paycheck as it is, and then they have to come up with $6,500 so that they can survive an evacuation? Because let me tell you, your homeowners insurance isn't gonna pay for it. Not right away. And then they're only gonna pay for it if your house completely burns down to the ground. Well, or if your house burns. I guess it doesn't have to burn down to the ground, but you know what I'm saying. So you need to have the cash in the bank so that if you are in this situation, none of these 65,000 people this time last week had any clue their homes were going to be gone. Their city was going to be burned. So let's run down real quick what a 2-week evacuation would be if you're in this situation. $4,200 for lodging, because when everybody's evacuating at the same time, you can guarantee prices are going to go up. That's just the reality of how it works, supply and demand. You can holler all you want, it's just the way it works. Food, $1,500 at least. It's going to cost you no less than $100 to $150 a day just to eat fast food for a family of 4. Fuel and extra travel, $250. I think that's low, because if you're in the Spokane area and let's say you have to go to Coeur d'Alene or somewhere like that, Spirit Lake, somewhere out there. I used to live up there, and let me tell you, when you get to eastern Idaho, when you get to eastern Washington, western Idaho, you are driving for everything. There is no close city. There's just not. And so you're going to be driving. So $250, honestly, I think is a very low number for fuel and extra travel. Emergency clothes and supplies. The majority of people aren't going to be going to the thrift stores to get their clothes and all of their extra supplies. They're going to be heading to Walmart in the closest city to get that stuff. So $650 there. So that's $6,500 that you're going to have to spend just to survive the 2 weeks if they kick you out of your house. And it very well could be longer. And a lot of people don't have the money in the bank. Their credit cards are maxed out. So what are they supposed to do? This video is brought to you by our Dining on a Dime cookbook. We have quick and easy recipes your family will love to help you get in and out of the kitchen fast. Please visit us at livingonadime.com. It's 25% off now. Some of the tips that if you're in this situation, try to get away from the situation as far as possible. Now, I know the kids are still going to have to go to school, which this time of year, that's not a big deal, but just in another 3 weeks, fire season is not over until October here. So in just another 3 weeks, you're going to have to get kids back and forth to school. You're going to have to be getting back and forth to work, all of those things. You're going to have to start calculating, okay, I may have to drive. How much is this going to cost me to drive? Is a hotel cheaper an hour and a half away from my city and drive back and forth and commute than to get a hotel if one can be found right there? I don't know where 65,000 people were able to go in Spokane. You've got Coeur d'Alene to the east, and you've got Pullman and Moscow and Lewiston to the south. And then you start heading west and south and you're getting into Wenatchee and Walla Walla, well, those are all little towns. These aren't big towns that can just accept 65,000 people. So you may be going quite a ways depending on where you're at. Now, the next thing is food and prescriptions, all that. Now, prescriptions, there's not a whole lot you can do. But for food, guys, don't eat out for every single meal. You can go and get sandwich makings for the hotel refrigerator. Would it be cheaper for you to buy a refrigerator for your hotel if your hotel doesn't have one? But get you a hot plate, get you an air fryer, get you an Instant Pot, crock pot, something like that that you can cook in your hotel room for your hot meals. But sandwiches are fine. TV dinners are fine. Those are certainly a lot cheaper than going out to eat for every single meal. The next thing is go to the thrift stores and get your clothes at the thrift stores. Don't just go buy them new. I mean, yeah, Walmart's cheaper, but go buy them at the thrift stores. In those cities, they're bigger than my town even, and I know you can, I've lived there, so I've actually shopped their thrift stores. I know you can find stuff that's cheaper in the thrift stores than you can at Walmart. Now, I wouldn't go to Goodwill because Goodwill now is not cheaper than any thrift stores, but you know what I mean. Travel expenses really add up. Is $100 a night hotel room, which you're probably not going to find, but $150 a night hotel room cheaper than $300 or $400 a night if you can get one in Spokane. Would that be better? Maybe. If you have to drive 100 miles, is that worth it? Mike, when we lived there, he commuted an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how the weather was, every single day for a while until he got an apartment in the other town where he was working. So you may have to commute. Now, for us out west, driving is normal. We have to drive for everything out west. We just do. It's not there. If I want to go to Costco or Sam's or Hobby Lobby or Kohl's or anything like that, it's a 2-hour drive for me, any direction. It's just a given for us. But for people who aren't used to that and you have a fire and then you have to do that, you're just gonna have to accept that you're gonna drive. It's just part of it. As you're evacuating, try to remember to get your prescriptions if you have time. Sometimes you don't, but prescriptions are gonna be probably the hardest thing to get. If you can, take 3 days worth of clothes, at least, if you can get that amount together. But here's my big point that I wanna make on this. People are like, well, $6,500, who's got $6,500 laying around? You could. I guarantee you, I have not met one person, not one, that couldn't save on Starbucks, doing their hair, eating out, kids' activities, buying new clothes, buying new purses, buying new shoes, buying new cars, buying houses they can't afford. You need to get all of your emergency stuff set up first. And then once your emergency fund is set up, then you can start buying all of those fun things. But the problem is people are literally eating and pooping away all of their money. Literally. It's all literally going down the toilet. By how much people just eat out. If you would just stop eating out, there's $500 a month right there. In 1 year, you could have an emergency fund of $6,500, which you should have. I always say have 500, well, that would be nice, but $5,000 emergency fund at any given time. Because if your car totally poops out, you can find a clunker car for $5,000 that will get you to and from work if you need to. So that if you have some major catastrophe and your transmission just completely falls out of your car, you don't have to get a car loan. These car loans are killing people. The student loans are killing people. Stop going back to school hoping you'll get a better job. Just stop spending what you're doing now. People do not want to stop spending. They just don't. And so if you would just stop spending for 1 year, you could easily get your emergency fund saved up. Then when an emergency like this happens, you are not going to be up a creek stuck with no money to evacuate. You can get you and your family out safely.